Thanks. I'd like to discuss masking and other COVID protocols. These are not normal. Asking school children to wear masks 7 hours a day, every day of the week is not normal. I make that basic observation only because it certainly feels like FCPS is trending towards masking as normalcy, if only by attrition. How much longer are we going to keep up this masking charade? When will masks be optional? Children are at the least risk of severe illness and hospitalization from COVID, and every single adult that walks into an FCPS building has had access to a remarkably effective vaccine for nearly a year. Yet here we sit, still mandating masks in our schools without any apparent discussion otherwise. And it's not just masks. Without being in the school every day, I can't say this with certainty, but my guess is that masking is just one of many COVID protocols that need to be altered or stopped altogether. Protocols that 2 years ago would have been deemed a barrier to an effective learning environment. Dr. Liggins, as an experienced educator, are we doing things in our schools that in 2019 you would have deemed a barrier to an effective learning environment? Students and their families deserve to know what the off-ramps are for masking and other COVID protocols. What will it take to get back to normal and when? What are the metrics being used to sustain masking and other COVID protocols? Whose decision is it ultimately? If it's Dr. Liggins' decision, what are the metrics being used to sustain masking and other COVID protocols? If it's the board's decision, for how much longer is the board going to leave off its agenda school protocols that 2 years ago would have been deemed barriers to an effective learning environment? When will masking and other COVID protocols become an agenda item before this board? My hope is that the decision to sustain masking and other COVID protocols is not based on an early pandemic paranoia, but rather on both a clear-eyed view of the current risks of serious illness and hospitalization and a clear-eyed view of the cost of those protocols.